Hello. And today, what we're going to talk about is freedom or fear. So, earlier, let's see, was it this week or last week? I don't know. My days are running together. And anyway, so I got the most recent copy that came to me. Evidently, there's another issue that came in since then or has been published since then of the Atlantic magazine. And on the cover, it was this bright yellow cover, and it said freedom or fear. Something about, do you choose freedom or fear? And the article was actually about Ukraine and what's going on over there. And I immediately, when I saw this title, was like, what are they talking about? That is not even a valid choice, because you don't have one without the other. I mean, if you're going to have freedom, you're still going to have fears, right? And so anyway, I want to dive into that today. Who am I? I am Angela W. Stillwell. I am the founder and CEO of Untapped Strengths, and I work with individuals to transform them into top 1% leaders, and I work with teams to transform them into absolute powerhouses. And a big way that we work on doing this is through power skills, AKA soft skills. And what are the things that are going on in the brain to stop you from actually being able to implement and get to that next level in your life, whatever that next level looks like for you. So part of the issue that I see so often coming up for people is this obviously this whole thing around, what is impacting the brain. And when I saw this headline, choosing freedom or fear, I was like, that's a perfect example of one of the main issues that people just don't understand these days. Our brains, our subconscious brains, you guys hear me say this over and over and over again. If you've seen my lives, if you've seen any of my posts, you've heard me talk about the fact that your subconscious brain is driving 90+% of the decisions you make, actions you take, and results that you get. Okay. So when that is what's happening, if you are not aware of what those subconscious thoughts are, then guess what? You're being driven by limiting beliefs. You're being driven by stories. You're being driven by meaning that you have given to various situations that are impacted from the time you are a small child. Okay. So this thing of freedom versus fear, choosing freedom versus fear. Does anybody really believe that those stand alone? That if you're choosing freedom, you're never going to have fear? Absolutely not. You're still going to have fears. So let's talk about why that is, what that looks like, and what that impact is for you. As high performers, so often the goal is freedom. Freedom to do what you want when you choose, to have more freedom to be the person that you want to be, to impact the way that you know you are meant to impact. And when this fallacy of, okay, once you've gotten there, you're no longer going to have fear, you're going to think that you are failing. You're not failing if you have fear. Here's why. So when you look at the brain and how it operates, and this is going to get a little into the whole science piece, that subconscious piece is being driven by your amygdala, also referred to as the reptilian brain. And it sits like right here in the middle of your brain, right at the bottom of your brain, kind of in the middle, near where your spinal cord comes in. And that is the part of the brain that is the fight or flight or freeze. It's the automatic reactions. It's where your habits sit. And the reason that this happens is your brain uses so much glucose. Well, in order to not exhaust yourself every day, the brain starts saying, oh, look, this has happened before. And it just starts automating certain thoughts, certain meanings, certain beliefs, so that you are not having to consciously make every single decision, right? Can you imagine if driving a car, you had to think about, like you did at the beginning. Can you remember, like way back when you first started driving, how exhausting it was? I mean, it was exhilarating, right? And it was exhausting because you had to think about, okay, so in order to do this, I turn the wheel this way, I mash the gas pedal, I now need to move my foot over and press the brake pedal. And oh, look, there's a green light. I get to go through that. Or, oh no, it's a yellow light. I need to slow down and stop. And it's a red light. I need to stop and look at that car over there. Exhausting. So the more you do it, the more automated it becomes in your brain. And that's the way your brain operates around everything. So I wanted to hop on here today and just as a quick reminder, become aware of the thoughts that are going on in your head. Become aware of what you're saying to yourself. In a few weeks, I'm going to be doing a workshop, and I'd love for you to attend. We're going to put the link in the comments to be able to sign up to attend this free workshop. It'll be the last week of this month. I'm looking that way because I've got a big calendar on my wall. It's the last week of this month, and I don't remember the exact dates off the top of my head. We'll put all that in the comments. Would love for you to be a part of it. It's cracking the code to high performance, and this is what I'm talking about right now. When we, as high performers, we put so much stress on ourselves to be perfect, to always show up as what others are expecting of us. We want everything to be just so all the time. And we're constantly going, we're constantly driving. We often suffer from burnout, right? And that's because of the way that the high performer's brain works, in addition to how everyone else's brain works, right? As a high performer, you're driven at a different level than others, right? So join me for that workshop. Again, I'll put the link in the comments so that you can get signed up for it. And then we will send you notifications of how you can join live. And I can't wait to do this workshop with you. And in the meantime, it's not freedom or fear. It is being able to face our fears and still have our freedom. It's being able to face our fears and still be able to achieve. It's being able to face our fears and still become the people that we know we're meant to be. It's being able to face our fears and use them to our advantage. It's not one or the other. It's not freedom or fear. That headline just about sent me over the edge when I saw it. Take a look if you can find it. It's the Atlantic magazine, and it's not this most recent edition. It's the edition before. It's a bright yellow, not this color yellow, a bright yellow color. And it's like scribbled kind of like graffiti art or something, verbiage across the front. And it says something to the effect of choosing freedom or fear. You guys, that's not the choice. The choice is choosing freedom regardless of the fears. Choosing success regardless of the fears. Choosing to go into the relationship of your dreams regardless of the fears. Choosing to buy the home, live in the place you want to live, do the thing you want to do, regardless of the fears. You're always going to have fears. Those aren't going to go away. What we learn to do with those fears, how we learn to manage them, how we learn to have them be the fuel that elevates us to the next level, that's the key. So I hope you'll join me for the workshop coming up. And yeah, absolutely, Nicole. I just saw you pop in with your comment. How to respond and reflect on the fears to help you achieve that freedom. It's absolutely true. So join me. Again, I'll be putting the link in the comments, and I can't wait to see you. We'll be going live again next Wednesday. In the meantime, be on the lookout for the posts that I make. This is live on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. look on LinkedIn for the posts. And I'll put my link for LinkedIn in the comments also. So look forward to seeing you again, and have a great remainder of your week.